All right, in this lesson, we're gonna go over how the drone actually physically flies through the air. Now, we talked about the three basic movements that a drone does, but we wanna talk about how does that drone get in the air and stay in the air. Now, some of this might sound intuitive, but I wanted to go over it just to make sure we've covered it and that everybody is on the same page. So again, we have our Mavic Pro here, and you'll see it has 4 propellers, and this is called a quadcopter, quad because 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the most common type of drone or unmanned aerial vehicle you will see today. Now, these propellers are angled. I'm not sure if you can see this. These propellers are angled, okay, and they're at a very specific angle that graduates and gets bigger and bigger as you get towards the center of the blade, because the outside of the propeller is actually spinning faster than the inside of the propeller. If you think about it, as this propeller spins around one time, the speed that the outside of the propeller has to go to get a whole circle around is faster than what the inside of the propeller, because it's not traveling as large of a distance. So the angle at the propeller on the inside is much steeper. As you'll see, it kind of turns out this way. So what happens is these propellers all spin. I think that's pretty common sense, and they spin in such a way that they're taking the air and pushing it down, just like a fan would. So if you have a ceiling fan in your room, it spins around and pushes the air down towards you and blows air on you and feels nice. And actually, if you pick these drones and you fly them over your head, it feels like there's a really strong fan on you. So all of these, fans, motors, propellers are going at the same time, and they are spinning, pushing the air down, sucking the drone up, and they're holding the drone in the air like that, okay? So they're spinning fast. Now, if the drone is gonna go forward and you take your controller here, and you take your left thumbstick, if you're in mode 2, we'll go over controller modes in another lesson, but in mode 2, which is the most common, your left thumb or your left joystick here is gonna control your forward and back motions. So if you tell the drone, I wanna go forward, what's gonna happen is you're gonna send a signal to the flight controller inside of the drone telling it, okay, move forward. How do you move forward? Well, take the back rotors or the back motors and propellers and spin them faster than the motors or propellers in the front. That's gonna lift the drone up like this. And when you do that, now it's angled and it's pushing the drone forward like this because it's actually taking the thrust from the propellers. And not only is it pushing it down, but it's pushing it down and back, which is moving the drone forward. Same thing with the left and right banking action, which is your left control stick here. Remember in our last lesson that it's like this. That's going to tell these rotors on the right side to spin faster, which picks that right side up and then pushes the thrust down and to the right, which moves the drone to the left, okay? So I hope that makes sense. Then for yaw, remember that is this left stick, and that's when we pull it left and right. That causes the drone to spin this way, okay? Now you would think, how does the drone spin left and right since all the propellers are spinning? Now these propellers spin in different directions, okay? So they spin in different directions to kind of hold the drone steady instead of spinning out of control. What happens is they spin at different rates, okay? So they are moving the drone this way instead of lifting the drone up or left or right. It's gonna rotate the drone this way by how these propellers are actually spinning and moving. So for instance, if we were gonna spin one direction, the propellers diagonal to each other would slow down and the propellers on the other end would stay up, because you could hold the drone level and in place by just holding these two propellers here, okay? And these would not be as strong, and that would cause the drone to rotate or yaw. Then obviously the throttle, which controls the altitude, which is the left stick here, you can push that up and down. That controls all the propellers, so it pushes all of them up stronger and faster. That lifts the whole drone up, or if it's coming down the opposite, it'll slow all the props down and the drone will come down to the ground. All right, now that you know the 3 basic movements that a drone does to move through the air and how a drone actually flies, let's go ahead and move on to the next lesson talking about the controller and different controller modes.